Hey guys, Skyhawk JD here. Thank you for coming to watch Phoenix Wright Part 3 of Justice for All. Sorry for the long wait. I was getting a lot of stuff ready for Thanksgiving. But I'm telling you right now, guys, really excited to continue on. And also, my girlfriend will be coming. So expect another really long wait to do Phoenix Wright. Because after she leaves, I'm going to be going away for a week to plan out 2020. But a lot more is coming with Phoenix Wright, so keep your eyes open for it. And while you're watching, please share this with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Let's get some more people to enjoy this, all right? So enough talk, let's go ahead and get started. All right, that's the first game. Reunion Turnabout. June 21st, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Now, Maya is accused of murder, but she was under whatever that spirit medium stuff is called. But it turns out her sister, Mia, said that mediums can't dream. So, and we have the key. This ought to be interesting. Let's do it. Prosecutor Von Karma? You mean... You remember the old guy? No. I heard it's a successor this time. Successor? I wonder who it could be. Manfred Von Karma was a really sinister man. He really was. If you guys remember from the first Let's Play of Phoenix Wright 1, the guy was evil. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks, also he could win. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sort of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now his successor. I wonder what kind of person they will turn out to be. Who knows? It's no good. Mystic Maya! Pearls! She's so cute. Pearly! You showed up! Thanks for coming all this way. I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. Huh? Then you came all by yourself? Yep. I snuck out of the manor and followed a map. She is a brave little girl. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. I can't... Oh my. If it takes 2 hours by train, oh man, how did you get 2 hours by train? This little girl got guts. Hurley, what about the train? Huh? What's a train? Oh, she's so cute. I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who's that? She's so cute. He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend. Objection! Oh, that's from the first game! I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday. Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. It really was. It was always back and forth, but then, when you're rivals for life... Maya! Please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. He's gone. And he's not coming back. What? Wait a second. What's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed to the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. Nick? June 21st, 10 o'clock a.m. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and defense prepared? Oh, it's a woman! With the Karen haircut. Does she not look like a Karen? She looks like a Karen! Like she was speaking to my manager. Oh man, if Dark Fluff and Mr. Reddit, both those guys are my favorite, by the way. More stories, Mr. X, and all the other people who read those Reddit stories, they would all agree. She has the Karen haircut, but blue. Okay. What is with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm gonna talk like Mr. Reddit. I'm gonna do it like that. You must be a little shocked because I am a woman. Correct? Hold on. So she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma. I am Franziska Von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred? If something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... Ow! I'm talking. I'm talking. Don't interrupt me. Why does she have a whip in court? Why do you have a whip? If you interrupt me again, my whip will do the speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth like a normal person. I beg of you. Yow! Make no mistake. I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I want to speak to your manager. I'm having too much fun with her. Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please. Those of the Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fey, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. What is the defense position? Your Honor, does the defense wish to enter plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool, who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense. So that means, well, the thing is, if it's justified self-defense, I looked this up. If it's justified self-defense, Maya will not go to prison because it was justified. Basically meaning, if you kill somebody in self-defense, you will not get into any legal trouble because you defended yourself. If the guy comes at you and the guy's goal is to murder you, and you have no choice and you kill him, you defended yourself. You defended yourself. So you're not getting into trouble because you defended yourself from somebody that was going to cause you harm. That's what justified self-defense means. Anyway. Justified self-defense. A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. Okay, I was almost right. Unintentionally kills somebody in defense. We could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense, but the defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone. How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness. For you people watching, please subscribe to Mr. Reddit. He's the guy that does the voice perfectly. She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose. Oh, Gumshoe again. It's always Gumshoe. Poor guy. Witness your name and occupation and call your manager. I want you fired. Okay, that's enough. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Dick Gumshoe. I am a detective at the local precinct. Ah! Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yeah. Ma'am! It's ma'am!
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Yes, sir. If everyone will please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows, and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? That's quite the look of disbelief, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. Ah, that's when they found the victim was already dead, correct? I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I've ever presided over. Diagram of the channeling chamber. Floor plans added to the court record. So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time, then. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. I'm doing the testimony in my normal voice just to get this done quick. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. That's pretty blunt. Hold on a second. That's going to be a key to something here. Do we have an autopsy report? We don't have an autopsy report. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. Ah, there we go. There we go. Speak of the devil. There it is. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. After being stabbed, he was shot in the forehead point blank. The court accepts this into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. Before I do that, let me have a good look at this. That's it? After being stabbed in the chest, he was shot in the forehead at point blank. Okay. Alright. Let's have a look at this. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. Let me double check the shot was fired from point blank range, but before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. Let's press that. Stabbed? And what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see. And whose knife was it? It looked like it belonged to the Fae's, sir. And of course, Maya Fae's fingerprints are all over it. Really? All over it, huh? That does not look good. What would you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Man, she's an evil woman. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. Press that also. How severe was the wound? It had been half an inch more to the right. It would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. This testimony makes it sound like Maya has stabbed him with the intent to kill. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after stabbing. Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yep. Sure as can be. One look at the wounds, and you'd come to the same conclusion, pal. A fool is a fool. He will only listen to foolish opinions of other foolish fools. You're saying fool a lot. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Pain! Nothing sounds out of place so far. I should try to learn more about the murder weapons for now. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? Ah! Wait, what? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have... Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point is, you're missing is... the point that is you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start. Fingerprints. There are fingerprints. Along with the victims, the defendant Maya Fae's were also on the grip, sorry. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. The shot was fired from point blank range. Point blank, huh? So how far away is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. And how do you know he was shot at point blank? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I grow tired of this foolish foolery, of the foolish fools of this foolish country. Excuse me? Gunpowder burn. Gunpowder burn. When something is shot from a point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered. I brought the two murder weapons with me today. Very well. The court accepts them into evidence. Murder weapon was Gray's. Murder weapon was Gray's. 2 shots fired bared Maya's and Gray's fingerprints. Knife, murder weapon, a small fruit knife belonged to the Fae's. Bears Maya's fingerprints. The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time. 2 murder weapons, both with the defendants and fingerprints on them. And 2 murder weapons with both the defendant's fingerprints on them. Huh. This does seem like an open and shut case. Naturally. This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme. Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gravel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there? That is quite true. Mr. Wright? Yes. Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of this court that you do not adjust your plea. You stand to lose. I'm sorry. It's the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose. See? Just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You would change your plea in less than 10 minutes. What will you do, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Will you change to justify self-defense? Because now will be the time to do so. This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. I better think this through all the way. Let's live and let live. If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. Well, if it's, like I said, if it's justified, yeah, she murdered somebody, but it wasn't with the intent to kill. But I'm not gonna do this. I can't let that happen! Your Honor? Have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of a complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective? Yes. It's ma'am!
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike. Yeah. It's ma'am.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Now see here. Proceedings are run by... Eek! Don't let me call your manager. Oh yes, of course. Oh, that worked. Oh yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony. I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence. Incriminating evidence. Witness testimony. Sorry, pal, but there's even more incriminating Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. I already see a contradiction right then and there. I see one. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. I'm already gonna present the. I already see something. I see it. I see it. So this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of back spray of. There certainly is evidence of a back spray of blood on this. This piece directly links Maya Fey to the crime, sir. Oh, I forgot the accent. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. Maya's costume added to the court record. Alright, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both the murder weapons and blood splatters on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse? Ha ha! What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. Yes. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Wright. Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. That doesn't work? There's a gun! There's a bullet hole on it! Hold up. Okay, let's try the gun. Let's try the gun. The gun. Okay, so it's not the gun either. Alright. So... Alright. Hold up a second. Alright, so that was two penalties. Let's not make that mistake again. So I thought that would work, but this time let's press him. He wasn't fighting back? How do you know if he wasn't? If he was or wasn't? We could find no evidence that the victim put up any sort of a struggle bout. So did the murderer have a fight with the victim or not? Depending on this, the circumstances around this murder changed drastically. We're in real trouble now. If only I had something to prove that the victim did fight back. That Von Karma, she thinks she can decide the verdict. Hold, let me check something. Well, that proves something there. I think we're gonna use this folding screen a different time. Alright. Alright, let's find a contradiction. Look at this. Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. Maya. She's wearing her channeling costume today too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? As you can see, it's covered in blood. Let's hold it. There's blood on the costume. Lab results show that it's the victim's blood. So there is blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues that you could glean from this piece of evidence? Well... Objection! If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on. Yes, Miss Von Karma is perfectly correct. She's evil. Not even the judge is on her side. But if I bite off more than I can chew here, press further. Why is Miss Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an ejection like that. I see it! It's the bullet hole! I told you! There must be something about this costume. I just have to look harder. How do you... What do you mean you have to look harder? It's like right in front of your face. How do you not see that? Mr. Wright, Ms. Von Karma's logic is perfect. There is no way for you to poke a hole... Pun! Poke a hole in it. There's one little thing. Your Honor. Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence. What? What are you talking about, pal? Where is this problem you're talking about? I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. The sleeve? There's a tiny hole here. A hole? But that wasn't in the report. Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me. A hole that smells of gunpowder. It looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that this must be a bullet hole. Order! 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 This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? Or is she hiding? Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of evidence still holds Still holds. Continue with your testimony. That just now was a fluke. Nothing more.
Objection!
How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. While I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police, what Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find more definitive problem with the evidence, then... No way! Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony. Yes, sir. Von Karma, she thinks she can decide the verdict with this testimony alone. Well, I'll find a critical contradiction somehow. Then I'll have her. Let me check something. Then wait a minute. Let's see something. Let's try this now.
Objection!
Got it. Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then, what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? Ah, you're right! It seems you're correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then everything would change. Right, the wind seems to be shifting. Ah! What is with that "are you finished yet" laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Wright? Miss Von Karma? It seems that my affair was shot at by the victim. However, this only grounds enough support. That is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense play. That is correct. But I'm sure you're aware, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty. Ah! Now that you... Why, that's right! Man, she's good. She is good. Which means... the defense has yet to prove anything at all! No! Well, yes, that's true. Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate it's not enough to substantiate? Oh, substantiate! I think. It's not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. That's Rambo. Huh? How so? Ah! Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information you added to the choir, of course. Huh? You mean by myself? You want me to put the scenario all by myself? Ah! Yeah. It's ma'am!
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
What transpired? During the channeling, the defendant saw a chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. How do you miss if you're that close? The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. So does I arrive at that testimony. This scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please. What transpired? Let me check something real quick. Shot twice. Bears Maya's fingerprints. Murder weapon. That's not right. So he was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him. But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad. How badly hurt would you say he was? Actually, I went to give blood the other day. And afterward, I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Ah! Sorry. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. Where in the world did that pistol come from? It looked like the victim, Dr. Gray, had specifically brought it for that day. But a handgun? He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder. Why? Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something? That's what I'm thinking. The victim took a shot, but how did you miss? So, you're saying that the bullet hole in his costume was made then? Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when a shot was fired. I'm really glad you weren't hurt. The defendant then picked up a gun. Maya has never fired a gun before in her life. Well, the victim had already taken off the safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you can fire it just by pulling the trigger. Even me? I wonder. Now do you understand? Avant Garma's logic is perfect. This test certainly makes us look very bad. But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it. Hey guys, it's Skyhawk. So, just to let you guys know, around this time of the video, I actually got a guilty verdict. I actually lost. My first time in this entire series of this game. But what ended up happening was the game actually reset. And I had to go from the beginning all over again. That really made me upset. So I decided to take the video and cut that whole part out and try to continue where we left off last. So if you guys are confused throughout some parts of the video, just understand that it's because I got a guilty verdict and I had to go back all the way from the beginning. Thanks for understanding, and please enjoy the rest of the video. Remember when he said the bullet hole was way too clear? I'm gonna try pressing it. Something's not right here. Maybe it's this. Oh, I got it! Yes! Okay. Missing the tiny hole in his costume will be the prosecution's undoing. Eh? What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on his costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When someone is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! But there is not a single trace of gunpowder burn on his costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone could explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's say, in the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How's that?
Objection!
As if that was impossible. According to the testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. How dare you! Well then. That's right! The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some spades to the doctor and herself. And then while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took a shot. There, that should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. I already know it. The screen. Concentrated thing. Something doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal flaw? Yo! Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in the explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. The screen!
Take that!
This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What's that? A folding screen? I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah! It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, the defendant was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order! Order! This changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Bray, was here when he fired the shot, and the bullet hit this folding screen at this location about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was around this area. She was standing here. Well, wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole, but how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? Oh, that was short talking. No, that's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Miss Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer to where there will be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of that sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You... I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing away from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? Oh yeah, it changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would have been ideal. However, where and what the defendant was doing at that time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Oof. Right, the rest of the trial should be in the... Last radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you have been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. All the things to inherit. Why did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic? Huh? How is this my fault? You can start repairing your standing by first removing that third strand goatee. 3 strand. Oh, and rest assured, your punishment will come later. I will be speaking to your manager. Keep saying it, I'm sorry, I can't. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor, I think I had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness? It's gotta be Lada. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. To be continued. Guys, this is becoming a really crazy case. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on part 4 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Thank you guys. You all have a good night.